Welcome to the podcast, David.
Hey, welcome. Glad to be here, Ash. Yeah.
Good to have you. For anyone
Oh,
who doesn't know you, who do you say you are?
I am a cool, laid-back brother from Baltimore, Maryland, just born and raised, and a father of a husband. Today is actually my anniversary, Ash. So it's
Oh,
23 years today. So
congrats.
yes, got married in
Congratulations.
2000 to my lovely wife, Keisha. I have four wonderful children: Joshua, David, Zion, and Shiloh. And then yeah, I'm a real estate agent. So I work as a real estate agent during the daytime
Mhm.
and take care of the family by night. Family guy, Ash,
Yeah,
that's what I am. A family guy. And I've had the opportunity to be a part of the Prayer Warriors Global prayer line in the M series, which how we formed our relationship. But
Mhm.
so that's been a vital part of my life. And then the yeah, I'm a man of God. So I am a Christian man, and I, try to be as close to I can to try to work to be close to the Lord and try to do what's right and, just make my way each day. So just try to get better every day, my man. That's what I am.
I like it, and it's fun because I guess there's so many things to pull at and pick at. But as you said, like being born from Baltimore, what's that like?
Oh well, it's Baltimore's a good city, good people. I was born and raised there with my mother and my father. So I had two-parent household. I have a sister that came along we're 13 years apart. So pretty
Mm.
much I was the only child for 13 years of my life.
Wow.
Got the great opportunity to be outside all night till the street lights came on type thing.
Mhm.
And then yeah, and I made my way through school and yeah, Baltimore's been a good city to me and it's good people. Now it gets a bad reputation because shows like The Wire and things like that, but
Mhm.
it's a good blue collared city. We work hard, we play hard, and yeah, and it is it helped to mold me to the man that I am today. So I give
Gotcha.
Baltimore its props. So yes.
That's awesome. I guess the only thing I really knew of Baltimore was the Ravens and
Okay.
maybe The
Which is
Wire,
good.
which
Okay.
might not be the not so good, but it's like I
Oh
guess
yeah, yeah.
I guess it's kind of gone through its up and downs, or is it you don't need to believe everything you read on the news?
Oh well, some of it, what they say, art imitates life a little bit. So it's just like any other show where you kind of loosely base it, and you kind of, but it's some realities in there as far as like school system and um, the way that the politics is in the city and things like that. So it does touch on that, but yeah, but at the end of it's just like any other city in America, pretty much. It's just that there is a sentiment of start as far as like the well, if we want to call it like the hood, what have you,
Mhm.
that's where pretty much the where a lot of the you could see the disconnect between like
Right,
the like people that have and people that don't have,
right,
and they
right.
kind of make it put in your face that okay, this is the school that you have where
Mhm.
you have a book from 1993 and then
Mhm.
and you don't have no computer and all that type of stuff, but the schools on the other side of town have that.
Right, right.
But other than that, man, good city. And but it's being worked on. We just at the end of the day, man, we just trying to do the best we can. And
Mhm.
yeah, but the city and its administration, they're changed. We have a new mayor, so hopefully he can input and do some changes because he's a younger guy. And also we have a new governor too. So Wes
Mhm.
Moore, so he should hopefully he's promising some funding and changes to Baltimore too. So he's optimistic. So
That's
we'll see
cool.
what happens. Yes.
That's nice. It's funny thinking about being around Baltimore. I think I've visited Virginia Beach. Or I think of the DMV area, like
Mhm.
Baltimore, DC, and Virginia, like
Yes.
that triangle there. And it's neat
Yes.
to see how people are very lively, as far as I
Hmm.
can tell, and like some people are laid back. It's like you get a good mix of different people because I don't know if you met him before, but Patrick Pete, I met him through the line, and he's up in I think it would be like the DC area, Virginia area,
Hmm.
but it's like just seeing like that liveliness of a man where it's like he's passionate about things and like the things that
Yes.
you care about come through. Like he's focused more in IT. Like that's what
Yes.
he studied
Yeah.
and having a background in like being former military, I think
Hmm.
Navy, and
Hmm.
just seeing like the different experiences that people have. That's why I take the time to have these conversations to be able to have people tell their stories in their own way to where we can see we're more alike than we are different. And it's like our differences are what we have for ourselves, but we're not
Hmm.
so different to where we can't get along or like actually enjoy things and enjoy like the differences. It's like, okay, like you don't have to be
Hmm.
exactly like me. That's what makes you you. And I can
Exactly.
appreciate that
Yeah.
about you. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool to see that you yourself, um, Double P, PJ,
Hmm.
and a few of the other guys, Ricky Venters, like
Yes.
being
Yes. I
able to
keep on
like,
hearing about those guys.
yeah,
I haven't
like,
met Ricky or P, but I've actually known P. It's funny. We have been on Facebook friends, all that type of stuff, but it's
mm,
like, full circle thing. But I
that's
haven't
awesome.
met Ricky, but PJ told me he's close to me. But yeah, but yeah, it's good
Nice.
to, like I said, connect. And like you said, it wouldn't be fun if we all were alike. So yeah, that's what makes this world a great place, that we
Yeah,
all have our different perspectives, come from different backgrounds. And yeah.
that's awesome. I'm glad I didn't wait like 5, 6 years being on the phone with you before I saw you like face to face and be able to have an interaction like I did with
Oh,
Frankie. And it was like,
oh, okay,
I was
okay.
talking with Frankie and I'm like, wait a minute. I've never seen your face before, but it's like, I know your voice though.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, exactly, right? That's
Yeah.
the same way. Because like I told PJ, I thought he was like Scottie Pippen size. When I saw him, I was like, man, you short. I always thought you were like
Oh, oh, man. But I guess one thing that's kind of neat with you being in real estate, you've been able to like see the city evolve or like how'd you get into that and like what have you seen over the years and what kind of keeps you in it?
oh well, I'm a people person, Ash. So I'm so the I like to see to help people. The fact that real estate is like one of the keys. It's been kind of now that we're in this where everybody's hustling, doing everything, but
Mm,
real estate is like one of the fundamental keys to building wealth, as far as like just like the foundation. Of course, you can argue that point, but the great thing about helping people purchase their home is that you could see when you give them a key at the end of the day, and then as the transactions, the you go through all the emotional roller coasters, as far as like
mm,
I'm like the priest, I'm the counselor, I'm a real estate agent, then I have to get on my legal thing sometimes. So
mm,
it's a whole bunch of things that get you to the transaction, but it's great to see it at the end, and
mm,
to close at the table and give someone keys, and know that them and their family are going to live in that house. And the great thing about my relationship in real estate has allowed me to meet with other investors that have brought homes in the city. I had one of my clients purchase a, a property. Was actually it was in the status, it was condemned. It was just a wreck,
mm,
and I looked
yeah.
at it like, man, this house is a wreck.
Mm,
And it was like the ceiling falling down, and it was like it was big tree was built in the middle of it. It was built around a tree. It was just
mm,
crazy. But when I tell you, he took that property, he took his vision, put it on it, and now it's it took him about a year, but after he did it, it was a beautiful story. I'm sorry, not 6 story, but 6 bedroom house
mm,
with about 3 stories, and then had a nice attic where you could also, it was like a little lounge area. It had a spa pool. Had the
yeah.
yeah. So and hey, he took that and beautified it, and now someone has a beautiful house in the city, and he's done that 4 times. So
Yeah.
it was just beautiful just seeing him just do that type of work, and it helps me knowing that we're doing some good in the city, and just taking diamonds and turning them, diamonds in the rough, and kind of turning them
Mm.
from like those ratchet little haunted houses, and turn them into wanted houses. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah,
Wretched little haunted houses. I
yeah,
guess
man.
just in time for
Yeah,
Halloween. But
yeah.
man,
It would scare
that's so
you. I
well
was like,
said.
Yeah. And I was scared when I walked out. I'm like, man, I'm not going in this house, bro. What do we?
Yeah.
There's no. He's like, no, I got it. He had to go over the flashlight and everything, but
Yeah.
and like I said, uh, one great thing about real estate is that it's never the same. No transaction is ever the same. If I have a transaction with nothing wrong, I'm kind
Mhm.
of worried all the way to the day of closing because like something has to run. So
Right.
it's
Right.
like it's always anticipating like something. But in the meantime, is always a beauty in the transaction because you get to, like I said, at the end of the day, you get some keys, you know.
Right.
So
That's awesome. I
yes.
remember I feel like I got introduced to real estate back in 2008. And this would have
Okay.
been like my introduction into college.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
2008 because it graduated May and then started in August. And a
Mhm.
friend of mine, Nick Kojo, he introduced me to this book,
Oh,
Rich
Nico.
Dad Poor Dad,
Okay.
which is almost like the everybody in real estate knows it, swears by it,
Yes.
or is just like
Yes. Yes.
very
Yes.
familiar
Yes.
with it.
Yes.
And one of the things that he shared with me then, but for some reason, it felt like it didn't connect till after, where I was so
Hmm.
convinced that I'd have so much homework and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
like the value in learning how to read books that actually have stuff in it that you can take, and knowing
Yes.
that like now, of course, you can listen to books, but there's still a value in like physically holding a book and reading it,
Yes.
getting the
Yes.
information at your own pace, and like
Yes.
you might not be able to do something with it now, but like 5, 10 years down the road, like that thought would all
Yes.
of a sudden like spark itself. And being able to see that then to
Hmm.
now 2023, and even like trying to go through the home purchasing process back in 2019 before the pandemic, and again
Hmm.
2020 before the pandemic again,
Hmm.
it's like, yeah, it's not, you don't always have to rush to do what everybody's doing or like just go with the flow, things like that. It's like
Hmm.
sometimes like it's good when things don't work out and then you start being like, "Hey, who's this?" Like, "Oh, there's a HOA in this and then there's this fee and then
Yes.
there's that fee." And I'm like,
Yes.
"I thought the price was this." And then it's like it
Yeah.
slowly grows and it's like,
Yes.
"Oh, okay,
Yes.
everybody needs
Yes.
a little bit off
Yep.
the top."
Brother Bill brings his friends. Like, yes. And like, so, so the whole family. Hold up. I thought I just had one bill. No,
Right.
one bill leads to another bill to another bill to another bill. Oh, okay. HOA now. Okay.
Yeah.
Now on top of that, you have to pay yeah, if you have the insurance for your water, now you need the insurance for that. So
Right.
yes, it's like
Right.
it just keeps on building. But it's all protection though. All that's what I tell everybody. You just want to protect yourself. So
Yeah. Man. So I
yeah.
guess how as things have evolved over the year, like you being able to see diamonds in the rough and just see the city come up in different way, build different relationships and things like that. Like, how did you like how have you been able to move through life like up to this point before like us coming to know each other and you just making this whole life transformation?
Well, I like to say it was you know, picture perfect type thing, but well, I want to start probably with where my dad passed away back in January the 18th of 2022. So
Mm.
I went through I went through a major depression, and I was just really down, Ash. So I was in a bad spot, and yeah, I just happened. I was following ET. He was doing a 3 a.m. club because I couldn't sleep, so I had insomnia. I would be up all night,
Mm.
or I would just like wake up at 3 o'clock, and I wouldn't be able to go back to sleep. So I got on the line. He just gave out this line one day, like, "Hey, call this. You need to connect with the community." I was like, "Okay,
Mhm.
I'll try to give it a call." So I called, and the first conversation, I remember BK reaching out saying, "Hey, yeah, shout out to BK." So he was
Mhm.
just like, "Hey, he's like, hey, how you doing? My name BK, and welcome to the call." And at that time, it was a bunch of us coming on because I think when ET dropped the line, like a lot of people just called in. So uh, from there, I landed on the line. I heard like Shannon and Easy talking, and then I heard brother Jeff, and it was
Mhm.
just like wow. And then I heard you chiming in, and I heard like PJ chiming in. I was like, oh wow, this is pretty awesome. So I was like, let me try again. And I called again, And then it was just like, oh, this is a great place. Like, all right, I think I can rock with this. So yeah, since then, but at the same time, I was still going through my go through and just trying to find myself.
Mm,
At the time, I was doing real estate, but the market was kind of like changing.
mm,
While my dad passed, I'm still trying to move a like a $600,000 house. So, and there's all types of craziness going on with that. So,
right.
I didn't really have time to really grieve properly. So, what happened? I kind of things kind of like rolled over, and then so you get to that pinnacle, and then you drop, and then it was
Mm,
like, oh, sold this house now, bam, everything just kind of like that's when everything kind of like fell in on me, and I was just like at a place where it was just like, okay, all right, I gotta try to figure out something to get myself moving. So,
mm,
um, I got with a prayer line, I started counseling, and then that led to like me starting to transform like my physical, mental, emotional, and then the spiritual connection. I kind of more so leaned more so on God than just trying to like figure things out on my own. And then uh, I kind of just like the little what is the little roll like we used to watch the cartoon with the little snowball started and then just
mm.
started rolling and rolling and rolling.
Right, right.
And then yeah, I just kind of kept with the momentum. Thank God I've been able to consistently be on a line. Like so I've just like as soon as I crack my eyes, like even if I'm not like just get on the line. That's my thing. Just get on the line. Just get
Mm,
there. So get to the spot, like we say. So once I get there, then like I said, I just kept on being consistent, just staying with it, and then that led to me hearing George speak about 75 hard. I
mm,
was looking at it. I was like, yeah, let me try this thing. So next thing you know, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it. Then we tried it. It failed. I
yeah,
was like, oh man, this sucks. Okay.
yeah.
Then I did it again. And then it was like, okay, okay. I feel the momentum coming up from the from just being able to continue to follow like the because at first I was just doing it just to do it ash. I was just like,
Mm,
check off this drunk some water. But I didn't have like the heart for it. But then it was like, David, like you need to get your weight under control. You can't even feel yourself. You don't feel like yourself. You're not
mm,
yourself. So uh you gotta kind of pull yourself up, as they say, by the bootstraps. So I was like, all right, let me go. So I
mm,
was like, the second time I went in, and I was a little bit more like enthusiastic about okay, get to the gym, do my workouts, then do my outdoor workouts, and then drink my water, and then that's what led me to like you were saying about before about the reading. Asher,
mm,
it was that's the point where I started reading because truth be told, I had not read a book since probably the before the pandemic because I was working as a car dealer, then you're a real estate agent. You only have really had time to like sit down and read. so but the 75 hard gave me this one little idea, just 10 pages a day. That's all you have to read. Just 10 pages a day. So I started with the little 10 pages. The first day I did it, I was like, oh my gosh, my brain, monkey brain, I'm going all over the place. So then the second day, I was like, all right, I gotta read these books. And I was trying to just run through it. Then the second, and then I did it again. And then it
mm,
was just like, okay, my mind is like stopping. I'm focusing on these words. And I never forget that Barry suggested that I read the Psychology of Money. So I was like,
mm,
let me see. So I started reading, and I was like, next thing I know, 15 pages. Whoa, wow. Next day, 20 pages. Man, wow. 10, 10, 10. And I finished the book in like a week and a half, actually. I haven't read a
mm.
book, like I said, before pandemic,
Right.
probably like a manual or something. It wasn't either. So then that led me to keep on reading other books. So then from there, I picked up, I had Think and Grow Rich, and I got like halfway through it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to finish this. So I did the Dennis Kimbro, Think and Grow Rich. I read
Mm,
that. And then that led me to The One Thing by Gary Keller. So I read that. And then next thing, it was the uh, then I think at that point where were we at like 4 books, 5 books. I think and then I read another book. I think I what was that it was like the 7 habits of
yeah.
highly
Highly
successful
effective.
people,
Yeah.
and then highly effective people. And then next was like, hey, you was reading the No More Mr. Nice Guy book, and I was like,
Or the
let me
I
see.
think before that it was the little boy in me.
Yeah, the little boy in me. Yeah,
Yep.
that's what it led to. I read that book and I was like, wow, that just hit me in my spirit. And then that at that point, that's when you were like, you're reading No More Mr. Dice Guy. I was like, man, let me check this out. And then when I listened to the audiobook, because I always listen to the audiobook before I buy the book, so that
Right.
way I could just kind of see if it connects with me. And I
Mhm.
listened to like the first paragraph in the book, and I was like, oh my gosh, why is this book talking about me? So I was like,
Right.
okay, I got to get this book. So that's what led me to the No More Mr. Nice Guy book. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome. And what's funny, it's like, oh, I think I might have lost you. Let me pause. All right. And I think, yeah. So like the No More Mr. Nice Guy book definitely makes you feel like someone's been digging through your laundry and you're you're a mess. And it's like, how do they know
yes,
this? Who's this
yes,
doctor? What's he been up to? What's he talking about? This syndrome?
mm.
And I don't want to talk about this. This is making me feel really uncomfortable. So
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes. If you're a nice guy, this book will hurt your feelings.
yeah,
It should be a disclaimer on the front of that book that says, if you
yeah,
can read past, he does say it is a paragraph, and then we like, if you want to stop, or
right.
continue on. But yes,
I think it was
but
in the first chapter. Yeah,
yes, because it is like it's eye opening, action. So as a nice guy yourself, so a
yeah,
former nice guy.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny because I think one of the things that it kind of points to, and this part of the reason for us having the discussion, because one, I wanted to highlight you and get to know you better, but also be able to discuss the book further. Maybe we
Mm,
might not discuss it in full detail here, but like
mm,
trying to figure out what's a good way to give people the information, because a conversation I just had with Miss Pam Sam earlier was that um or I guess it's a quote or a saying that says like people perish for a lack of knowledge. And sometimes
correct. Yes.
it's gonna be the thing that's like it's peeling off the scab or like ripping off the band-aid to be like, okay, hey, we've got to do more with this wound than just like put a bandage over it. This is like a gaping wound. And it's not,
Yes.
it may not be a problem that you created or like a circumstance that you're aware of, but at
Mm,
least having things spoken about openly, I
mm,
think creates an opportunity to let you know that you're not a victim of circumstance. Like this is where you're at. Maybe this is how you were thinking,
mm,
and here's how you can kind of break away from that mold and like deprogram yourself to escape, so to speak. And
correct.
like
Yeah.
a few things are kind of going back and forth in my mind, like the Book of Ted, which maybe
Mm,
is what helped point me back in this direction. And
mm,
then the Escape song, which kind of referencing back to EL, Eddie
okay.
Butler, and just being like
Okay.
when he gives his presentations and some of the things that he points to, it's like being able to actually pay attention to the details of a thing and not
Mm,
getting lost in the lullaby effect where it's like you've heard a song over and over, you've heard a story, and it's like, oh,
mm,
I've heard this. I don't need to do this. It's like,
mm.
uh yeah, let me pause there for a minute.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely. No, like I said, you're dead on because, like you said, it makes you kind of focus on just like your self development, like yourself, like that's the whole thing about the book is that it's really teaching you the fundamental lessons of just being able to put yourself first, help in a healthy, selfish way, So it's not meant like he said, don't go kamikaze nice guy where you gotta set boundaries. Oh, nobody can come through this, and you gotta take your time and But the main thing is like that I took from the book is that like I said, it's important for me to focus on myself. And
Mhm.
just like you were saying, Ash, about when you hear the stories about put the oxygen on yourself first.
Yeah.
First, you gotta love yourself. You've heard these cliches, but they got to the point now where they're just like, oh, okay. Oh yeah, put the oxygen on myself. But to truly, truly put the oxygen on yourself, you gotta first take care of yourself
Yeah.
mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, and that's what it all boils down to. Because if you don't, then
Yeah.
you're not any good to anybody. So yeah, David got to help David, just like Ashley got to help Ashley. So that's
Yeah.
kind of how. how it all works. So,
Did you
but yeah,
feel
that's
it?
what it.
My bad.
No, no, please.
I was gonna say, do you feel that it was easier for you to receive the message without as much resistance, given that you were doing the 75 hard program and like you were moving, you were active, you'd already read many books beforehand, so like your mind was kind of like open to new information?
Of course, Asher. That was exactly you. You just nailed the ding, 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 man. You hit like the state fair. You just banged that thing all the way up to the top, man. Yeah, that's yeah. Because if I read this, I wouldn't have read this book.
Mhm.
I would have
Right.
threw this book underneath. This book might be burnt if I if I tried to read it like
Yeah.
before like the 75 hard, before the prayer line, before I had healthy accountability,
Mhm.
before I had like because I'm sure, I don't know if you want to go too deep, but the building that relationship with men,
Mhm.
that's very important because, like we discussed, like I'm coming from Baltimore, so we gotta watch our backs. We can't show teeth. You gotta
Mhm.
be hard. You gotta watch the other brother.
Mhm.
So for me to come in and get embraced by the prayer line, for me to get accountability from a Shannon, from a Chris, from a BK, for them to be able to call me out,
Mhm.
that kind of helped me to be able to, take away some of that take my heart off my sleeve, So
Mhm.
now I'm able to kind of man up and receive feedback, receive not take things personal as much. So when I
Yeah.
read the book, it was like it's not coming from a place of shame, 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 victim, victim, victim,
Right.
blame, blame, blame. It's more so, okay, I can see where I can make this adjustment. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of adapt and adjust to it as opposed to just trying to just consume it and just like, oh, regurgitate it. Oh,
Right.
I'm a
Right.
nice guy. I'm setting boundaries. No, no, don't do that, Dave. No,
Right.
no.
But I
Read
mean,
the
it's like
book,
you right. You do need to set
understand.
boundaries, but boundaries aren't
Yes,
walls, because I think
exactly.
that's one of the things that, like,
Yeah.
I think I'd mentioned to you the boundaries book, which is what I found um, before the No More Mr. Nice Guy book. And it's
Mm,
like I'd done similar to you reading the book, and I was like, oh, this is so good. Let me get it in print and like
mhm,
read through it. And then there was a workbook with it, and I started working through it. But like
mm,
having read the No More Mr. Nice Guy book and trying to kind of pick up where I left off in boundaries, I was like, well, you might not need to dig down this deep. I think this one,
mhm.
it was more surgical in its approach, where it hit
Yes.
so many different things, and it focused
Mhm.
specifically on men, where like the
Yes.
boundaries book focuses on the Christian aspect and seeing like why
Mhm.
being a Christian doesn't mean you just kind of lay down, just because it's like everybody likes to quote the verse where it says if they smack you on the left cheek, offer them the right, or if it's vice versa. And like
Yes.
seeing a song like from Tobe just being like, hey, try Jesus, not me.
Don't
Like,
try me.
right.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
it's like, I guess it's easy to misunderstand things and kind of cherry pick stuff without trying
Mm,
to understand the fullness of something, to actually be like, okay, how does this work effectively? Because the it's so easy to just become the milk toast type person that's like, oh, if I
mhm.
just do everything right, then my needs will get met and I'll have
Yeah.
everything that I want. Like,
Yeah. That's
w-
it. I just gotta be good. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Ash, they told me that's all I gotta do is be good. If I'm good, all great things that happen to me.
yeah,
Everything's going to be great. I'm gonna be no, I'm not going to have any money problems. My wife's going to be great.
yeah,
She's going to be my peer cheerleader. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
mhm,
kids are going to be great. All the kids going to run around. That's all I got to do is be good. No,
yeah,
that's not because
right,
they're all people.
right,
At the end of the day, everybody's going to do their own thing. And then on top of that is just that perception that yeah, that's not reality. Because look at Job, bro. Like Job,
mm,
Job was the great. For all we know, Job was one of the greatest guys on earth.
mm,
He didn't do anything wrong.
mhm,
He was good, and
yeah,
guess what happened? All the calamity in the world. So from the heaven and from losing everything. So
yeah,
like I said, that's my nice guy that I looked at like, hold up, man, if that could happen to Job or Joseph, like we always say, like Joseph was mad. He
right,
was like, he had a dream. Next thing you
yeah,
know, you thrown in jail. Next thing you know, oh, your
right,
brothers hate on you, throw you in the ditch. So it's just like yeah, it's just like, okay, yeah, that doesn't matter that I don't know where that perception even came from, but
Mm.
I guess I formed it over the course of my years. And like he was
Yeah.
saying, getting in that paradigm of thinking that, okay, if I'm good, everything will be good,
Yeah.
which is like we all know is
Yeah.
not
Well, I mean,
not reality.
I think a lot of us has kind of been painted in that corner where it's that like everybody talks about toxic masculinity and things like it's
Yes.
like there are bad characters and things that can
Hmm.
go too far in one direction, but what the old
Yes.
saying's like you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like you have
Exactly.
a
Yes.
like a meaning crisis or a boy crisis where people are like, "Oh, why are like men have always died early?" Or it's like they carry
Hmm.
all this stress, they carry all this weight of like, "Oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that." And
Hmm.
um I guess I don't want to go on a tangent. I did want to ask you one question.
Sure.
In like looking at the first chapter, because I don't have the book with me to reference, but
Oh, I
um
got it right here.
did you
Right.
did you share it
Mhm.
with your wife? And if you did, how did she take it? Like trying to read it along with you?
Oh no, I have not. I'm being 100% honest. But she did look at the book. She was like, "Oh
Yeah.
no, you can have this.
Yeah.
This describes you," but she's not going to die.
Yeah.
I didn't force it. Like set boundaries.
Right.
Like okay,
Right.
okay. When in her time, she'll come to it.
Yeah.
But yes, I told her about it, but I didn't like try to like force it on her. In the past,
Right.
I would have felt like
You gotta
with my
read
nice
this.
guy thing, you gotta read this with me. Well, I'm not gonna read it. My nice guy thing. I would have been
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. You don't want to
Right.
read it, I
Right.
don't want to read it. But
Right.
no,
Right.
this is like now, I'm on this self-improvement, self-development journey. So it's just like, okay,
Yeah.
this is my road. I gotta get on here,
Yeah.
and walk it myself. And then, eventually she'll come along.
Yeah.
But
That makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
That
But and on
that's
top
a
of that,
good
I
thing.
gotta lead by example, Ashley.
Right.
My wife is not on that just because I said something.
Right.
If she
Right.
doesn't see like the change, because with my transformation physically, I dropped down. Like I told you last week, my doctor was like, he was super proud of me. He's like, man, he was 244 December
Mhm.
2022. You're 195 today. So it was like,
Yeah.
wow, okay, all right, great, great, great. So my wife sees that, but
Mm.
but the nice guy thing, like I told someone else that I referred the book to, is you're not going to this. This is to everybody.
Mhm.
You're 1 month, one book, you're not going to be no more nice night, Mr. Nice Guy that fast. It's a
Yeah.
process.
Right.
It's
Right.
you still have all this. I'm 48 years old, so I have 48 years of information that
Mhm.
I'm trying to deprogram myself from, Ash.
Right.
So it's just like, okay, it's just like I'm trying to get this out of me. So I still revert from time to time, but I catch
Yeah.
myself. I'm more self-aware. Like, hold up, Davey, you doing that? Yeah, nope, come back,
Right.
come back.
Right.
Yep. You didn't set the boundary. Set the boundary. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, now get back. Yeah. So
Yeah. And
it's
it,
it's,
it's
it's a constant improvement, Ash. Yeah,
yeah.
constant. Yeah.
And
I'm
it's
not
been
there.
good. No, but
Yes.
it's been good, like, being able to have multiple touch points and, like, when we hear from each other during the week and, like,
Hmm.
hearing the language change and, like, hearing you speak on things and that kind of remind me of, like, "Oh, yeah, I did do this," like we both talked about having taken a lot of notes and, like, if you
Hmm.
actually go back through your journal and you read some of the things that you wrote and for me, like, it'll be 2 years come November that I've been down here in South Georgia.
Okay.
And I remember maybe like 6 months in to like
Hmm.
having moved down here and
Hmm.
looking at some of the goals that I'd written down when I felt like I was in a rough place because like the podcast kind of came out of that
Hmm.
just feeling stuck and not
Hmm.
knowing what to do and
Hmm.
kind of getting nudged by a friend, same friend that suggested to me the No More Mr. Nice Guy book. And I was
Okay.
frustrated with her to say the least. But
She's
it's
still a
like,
friend? No, I'm just
yeah,
playing.
well, it almost
Because that book, I'm like, man, because
right,
I was
right,
mad at you when I read it. I was like,
right.
why would
But
Asher send this book? It's like,
right. But it's like I'd say current day, yes, still friends.
mm,
But it's
yes,
one of
nah,
those
you're
things
fine.
where it was like not even being frustrated at the person, but just being like frustrated at myself where
Hmm.
it's like it just feels like you've been exposed, but
Hmm.
then like when you don't take it personal and you kind of learn to leave the information where it is and know that it's not an
Yes.
attack on you, it's like,
No.
okay, like I've
No.
been carrying these things that have not helped me, and here's
Mhm.
why. And
Yeah.
in that, I know I've even I've watched for the first time, like, Kevin Samuels, some of his
Mhm.
videos, and, like, I watched them heavy, like, watching all 3 hours, watching on double speed and things like that, trying to get the full
Mhm.
context of it, and
Mhm.
a lot of people develop bad opinions of him and things like that, and
Mhm.
I kind of felt like I had to walk around eggshells to, like, not offend somebody, but I was like, "You know, I don't come with the intention to offend, and I'm
Mhm.
also not going to be I'm not gonna shy away from enjoying or learning from someone that I may not know anything about." It's like that's
Yeah.
the thing that, like, I'm kind of learning with when something makes me uncomfortable.
Mhm.
It's not everything that makes me feel good, like eating the
No.
Oreos or eating a
Exactly.
scoop
Yeah,
of
yeah.
ice cream like I ate earlier. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
I want to do that because I know I've been working out, I've been doing this, and
Mhm.
it's a treat. It's a one-time thing. But
Mhm.
every day coming home and having a whole tray of Oreos, and I can justify by being like,
Yeah,
"Oh, it's
just
just a
yeah.
mini.
Yeah.
I'm not
Mhm.
this or I'm not that." And it's like going to put the pants on and be like, "Oh, they don't fit." Like they don't
Mhm.
fit like they used to. And it's like, okay, like I can get comfortable wearing my shorts and this. Like
Yeah. But
at the end of
Oreos,
the
they gonna
day,
feel good going down.
right, right. But it's like when I look at my face and if it's like if I'm waking up and I've got like this brain fog because I haven't taken the time to fast or even be
Yes.
like, "Oh, I can't do that because I've gotta
Mhm.
work and I've gotta do this," is like
Yeah.
creating all these mental hurdles and things like that. It's been
Mhm.
helpful in going through the book and kind of stripping away layers. And I think for me, one of the big things that played a role was having counseling, being able to have
Yes.
one-on-one
Yes.
accountability where I could
Yes.
fully like talk through things and not
Mhm.
feel judgment on the other end, where it's like
Yes.
for me, it was more it felt more personable because it's like someone that's more of a, like a coach to where I can get feedback not just on what's going on, but what I can do about it. But I still get to choose like how I move through that whole process because it's not just you read this thing and you're on an island. It's like, no,
Yeah.
you need to have people you can confide in, but also
Correct.
have people that you can trust to where it's not, okay, I tell you something today 5 weeks from now, it comes up in public conversation, and it's like, that
Yeah.
wasn't public, that that was private, and it's like,
Exactly.
now
Yeah.
now I know I can't come
Yeah.
back because it's like, okay,
Yeah.
so you kinda using me for this, and I'm like,
Mhm.
that wasn't the intention there, but it's
Yeah.
like learning with boundaries, kind of like knowing what to say, what not to say, but also, like, how to express yourself or kind of how to like what you like and actually remind
Mhm.
yourself that, "Oh, okay, like, I can take a trip out of town and not have to be like, okay, does this person need to be taken care of? Can this person come? Can they not come? And it's like, no,
Mhm.
I don't have to ask permission for having self autonomy. And no
Mhm.
matter how I got here, like I can kind of strip some things away, keeping people informed while I'm doing it, but like just letting them know, like, no, like I'm not gonna do that. It's not anger, it's just I have a right to say no. If it changes
Exactly.
in the future, it
Mhm.
can change, but it's like at
Exactly.
least
Yeah.
I give myself the room to be like, just because I have free time, it doesn't mean
Your
it's
free
like,
time.
yeah, my free
It's my
time
free
isn't
time.
yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, just fit this in here, fit this
Yeah,
in here. I'm
hold up.
like,
I can
nope, nope,
you
nope,
6 to
nope,
9, you not working? Okay, this is what I have.
nope.
No. Oh yeah, but like you were saying before, Asher, like you have to have safe people. Like you were saying, like we were joking, but the friend that referred you to this book
Mhm.
was a vital part of like your transformation, and they saw something in you that this book
Yeah.
could kind of add a piece to your puzzle. So it's like that's the type of healthy accountability that we need in our lives, especially being nice guys. We need to have a group like the prayer line. We need to have a like I have a counseling, like
Mhm.
I have like a mental, like a therapist that I go see, that I go
Mhm.
to weekly.
Yeah.
So I follow Tim Ross in the basement, and he was talking about how he spends a lot of money on like his mental health, and I was like, you know what, that was like way back in a while ago, that, but since then, because I was only doing therapy like once a month, but I was like, nah, bro, I'm gonna go every week. So
Yeah.
I go pretty much every week, and then I have the prayer line. I'm connected with a great motivational series on Sunday, so we have a good call on there,
Mhm.
and like I'm moving my business. I'm seeing things grow. So it's you just can't, you like you were saying before, you just can't do it on your own. It's just
Yeah.
like you need safe people, a safe accountability group. Because if you leave it up to yourself, you're going to look at this book, read it, and you're just probably never going to look at it or do any of the exercise or do
Right.
anything. So yeah, it's good to have like we're talking right now. It's good to have that male bond.
Mhm.
So so that's one great thing because I look to meet with the men, and I've had an opportunity to meet brothers outside the line and
Mhm.
build relationships to find to have good healthy relationship with and especially men of color. Like for
Right.
us to bond and get together is even better because we're positive brothers going in the right direction, and we feel that synergy in that. So yeah, man.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like in just this whole year feels like it's been the focus has been coming back to being present and
Yes.
actually like seeing the value of a day. Like
Yes.
by the
Yes.
time we rolled around to writing down our 10 goals with Barry kind of as he
Yes.
implemented that, I think before I would have judged myself for like missing a week here, missing a day here.
Hmm.
And it's like it's been in the back of my mind, but I've really let go of that judgment to be like, okay, I'm present. And the things that I've been writing down, the things that I wrote down, like practice good hygiene, brush your teeth,
Yes.
floss your teeth, or
Varsity.
yeah,
Yeah.
brush, floss, brush, shower, shave, like
Mm. Do you put
those
that
things.
skincare in there? Ash, you got the skincare? You got
I've got some, but I focused on just making sure I clean up and
No,
then
no, no, no.
yeah,
We gotta get you
but
some skin lotion,
right,
man. You gotta get the skin. You gotta do the facial, man.
got you.
You gotta
But for me,
exfoliate.
right, for me right now, I'm like, hey, one thing at a time, do
Got you.
what I can manage, do what I can be consistent with, and it's like
I got you.
the doing it and making it an automatic habit to where it's like, okay, before I go to bed, I'll do this. When I wake up, I do that. And to
Okay.
have it not be a chore, to have
No,
it to be
no.
something that I actually look forward to. It's like, okay, like I
Yeah, yeah,
feel
yeah,
like I don't mind being like sweaty when it's time to sweat and outside, but
yeah.
like when you've worked all day and you come inside, it's like, okay, get the outside off of you,
Yeah. Get
leave it
the
out
outside
there,
off you. Yeah.
and then
Get
be
freshen up the
actually
house.
right.
Yeah.
And it's like, heck, like you're not ruining bed sheets from like laying on them with your outside sweat, and like you actually feel like you might be drained from the day, but take a shower, cold shower, hot shower, and it's like, okay, I feel
Yeah.
refreshed a little bit. Not
Refresh
meaning,
and you
yeah,
refreshed and reset, right? So
yeah. And
yeah,
it's
because
not a it's not an excuse to go do more work. It's like, no, like
no,
work was done. I put that down. Now I'm gonna do nothing, but it's like it's something different, but I can feel good about doing nothing without it being like there's this cloud of like, "Oh, I'm not doing anything, and
yeah,
now I've gotta
no,
do this," and it's like, no, like, I don't have to have that, like, that thought and energy kinda stay with me. It's I still get a choice in the matter to say, "Hey, whatever it is that I'm feeling, it may be for this moment, and it may
mhm.
be an indication to, like, alright, stop, reset, go to something else. All right, this
Yeah,
isn't
and man,
working. Stop,
yeah,
reset, like move on.
and
Like,
enjoy it, Ash. Take that
yeah.
time, man. You know, man, my room, man, I slap my Sade on, get that face. You know what I'm saying? Take
Tell me
that.
about
You
your
know,
skin
got my
routine.
little
Tell me
robe.
about it.
You know what I'm saying? And shave and bro, take it. Yeah, take your shower, Ash, and you just feel like refreshed, man. And you just take time to love yourself.
Mhm,
Shave and like I said, brush your teeth, get the floss, and get
mhm.
in between, and you feel a lot. To me, it's just like a relaxing like way to end my day because it
Yeah.
just like yeah,
Oh,
especially with me doing a working out. Oh, I'm sorry,
no, you're
with me
good.
hitting the 2 or 3 workouts, it's
Yeah.
like yeah, it's like man, I'm like all right, yeah, I got hit, but I try to do it like after every like workout or whatever. So Like, so yeah, I might hit a shower like three times a day, depending on, the day, especially with the crazy humidity we be having.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, you gotta take care of Ash. So yeah, man, get that routine down, man.
Yeah.
So
You might have to send me some of those things. It's one of the things I've been doing is instead of like I'll look at something here and there, but instead of
mhm,
like taking on more stuff to do, I'm looking
mhm,
at okay, like what food can I eat, but like I
mhm.
don't have to complicate my meal prep or what thing
Gotcha.
can I know that like one of the things Dr. PI has suggested was like start the day with hot water or warm water.
Yes.
So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, like
Yeah. I heard somebody
may
else say that too. Yeah, I
I was
think
like, maybe I
yeah.
don't drink it lukewarm, but I'll heat it up. And I was like,
Mhm,
okay, like before or like somebody may say or I may have said in the past like, "Oh, I don't like how it tastes," but it's like sometimes when it comes to your health, it's not about the taste. And I was like, "Okay,
no.
well, if I want to adjust the taste, I know I personally like drinking tea, like
Mhm,
different teas. They're good for
mhm,
certain things, and even going to the store and be like, oh, okay, this is good for your digestive system. I saw something recently where it's like, oh, this tea is good for your joints. And I was like,
mhm,
maybe I'll try that instead of taking like a tablet or something.
mhm.
And in trying this and being like, okay, my stomach feels settled. I don't necessarily need to do the apple cider vinegar so that like
Nah,
taste like
I couldn't do that.
I can
Yeah, I
skip that
tried it,
right now.
Ash. That was like the worst thing ever. Have you ever done that? The shot in the
Yeah.
morning.
Well, no,
Oh.
no. I think you're supposed to take a spoon of it and you're supposed to mix it in a full glass of water so where you're not just I don't think you're
Well,
supposed to
no, I
ingest
did.
it.
That's what I was doing at first. I was just taking
Gotcha.
the shot glass. I'm
Oh,
like,
no, 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 no.
and then somebody told me, no, you're supposed to drink it in some water. And then I tried it in the water. I was like, that's still like,
Right, right,
so
right.
I just came to the realization, like you were saying, like everything is not for everybody.
Right,
You know, there's no 100% way that we all going to all do the same thing. So
right.
there, the apple cider vinegar is not me. Now I have tried the hot water. That's not
Mm,
bad because to me
yeah,
it's just like it just making you kind of slow down and just kind of focus in on the warmth of the water and
right.
yeah. So it is like relaxing. I try to do that on like maybe like the Sunday. Sometimes I'll just
Yeah,
get the hot water because it's like relaxing. Because
yeah.
yeah,
And
but
like I think
but how's that going for you?
for me it's been going good because it's not too foreign to like my everyday routine. And actually
Okay,
I feel
cool.
like it's something I would do anyways. Like I'd make a cup of tea or boil some water and then
Okay,
it's like I don't need to drink it immediately because I know it's going to be hot for the next 5-10 minutes. So I can let it
yeah,
sit, like get
yeah.
down to like a good warm temperature and I
Hmm.
can sip on it, like enjoy the tea flavor and things like that. And
Yeah,
I think it helps me not think about eating first thing in the morning and
yeah.
kind
It
of
doesn't.
going
Yeah, it
going back to
does.
when we did
Yeah.
that 1 week fast. I was like, I
Mm,
haven't really fasted intentionally in a while. And I was like,
mm,
I'll try it. Like it's
hmm.
1 week and we say try from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And
Yes.
some
Yeah.
days I didn't make it the full time, but like again, I wasn't judging myself about it. I
No,
was
no,
like,
no, 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 no,
okay, I'm doing this thing.
no.
I'm trying to spend less time focusing on the food. And then
Hmm.
I think somebody had pointed out it's like, oh, the food part's the easy part, but like, how do you treat the people around you when you become irritable? And it's
Hmm.
almost like you can do the physical thing, but kind of like the five pillars that Barry talks about: the physical, the mental,
Mental,
emotional,
emotional,
financial, and
national,
spiritual.
spiritual.
So
Yes.
it's like you're good on this aspect. Like, how are you here? And it kind of goes to
Hmm.
what ET would say too, with like the triple double. It's like you can be killing it in your business, but if your home life sucks, like
Hmm.
you can be a public success but a private failure.
Right.
And it's
Failure.
like you
Yes.
don't want
Yes.
stuff to come out like, oh, this person was pretending to be one thing and then turned out to
Hmm.
be like this. But doing that experience of like trying to take on the week fast, whether it was like 6 to 12 or 1 or 2 days, 6 to 6, it was
Hmm.
actually a good indication of like, oh, I don't need to have like a cereal or I don't need to have these bars like and
Hmm.
it kind of hurts if you don't eat all day and then you just try and like smash everything at once before the next day and you're like, okay, okay, I,
Nah,
I
man.
got all the junk in. It's like your
Nah,
body's
don't do
like,
that. Yeah,
it's
because your
like we
body
don't
like,
do that.
no, 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 no,
Right.
no. Yeah, so you got to gradually. That one good thing, I was already in the 75 hard, so when I kind of went through it, I was already like
Mm,
programmed to not like, yeah. So that's one good thing I could say. But the
yeah,
but yeah, man, it's like but give yourself grace, Ash. You don't know, you don't have
for
to do it
sure.
100% of the time, bro. Just
Right.
try to, if you get in them 3 days a week, 5 days a week, but don't,
Yeah.
sometimes we can add pressure to things like you were saying before, like you want to do what works for you. My
Yeah.
my facial routine might not be for you, but you know what
Right.
I'm saying? You know what I'm
Well,
saying? But
the thing that I've kind of noticed about how people talk and how people move, and that I actually get a choice in deciding what I want and how I do
yes.
my thing, because I feel like a lot of people try to sell you on them, and they
Hmm.
try to sell and market to you on social media to be like, you need to do this thing. There's like that
Yeah.
scarcity approach in the thing. And it's like,
Hmm.
maybe the
Yeah.
message isn't always for me, because I could be
Hmm.
the person that's like, "Oh, this they said I need to sign up for this course, or they said
Yeah.
I need to
Like,
invest in this real estate thing, and
like,
I gotta," and it's like
like
I just felt myself chasing so many rabbits, and it's like
Yeah,
I
like my
wasn't
man that was
catching any.
like, you can start an LLC, then you gotta drink a gallon of water, then you gotta you gotta work 23 hours on your business, and then don't sleep for the first 4 days, and on the fifth day you might get sleep, but until then you grind, 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 and you're gonna make $1 million. That's
Yeah,
you gonna get a business loan
yeah,
for 35,000 with no credit check, no
yeah.
docs. I'm like, where y'all getting this stuff from?
Yeah, it's
Then you
like
could
there
get a truck, and the truck get an Escalade, and you can write that off. It's like what?
I think, like, social media has definitely made a lot of, overnight successes or $1 million
Oh
influencers that,
man,
like, pretend to have
some
a life they don't
yeah,
really have, and
Uh,
give, like, a lot of younger people or even older people, like, a bad self-image where they're like, "I've gotta have these things in order to feel this way." And it is
yes,
not to say that you can't have nice things or progress from a level that
mm,
you are to the next thing, but it's good to know this, that, like, you get to have a say in what you have, what you do, how it turns out, how it plays out. It's not
yeah,
You're not always slave to, like, following the next person's thing and the next person's thing, but, like,
exactly,
it's good
yeah,
to it's good to see that, like, you got something out of the book and just throughout the journey that you've taken over this past year, and, like,
yes,
over the summer, it's like making the most of it, like getting your summer body back and looking at
yes,
like, "Hey, what's next? Do I chisel? Do I do this?" Or like,
hmm
"What's gonna work for me in this season?" And like, how am I gonna hibernate? Am I gonna, like, have to start over come winter? But it's one of those things where it's when it'll be time for that, I'll focus on that, but I'll
that's right,
do
yeah,
well enough today to where it has a better impact on me later, to where I don't
correct,
have to, like, redo and undo the things that I've done, so it's not just like you're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's like
yeah,
you can
yeah,
kind of, like, slowly progress and then turn the
yeah,
corner, maybe climb a hill, go down the valley, and it's like
yeah. Yeah.
whatever pace you take is pretty neat.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, we're trying to break free from the nice guy syndrome. So you just gotta kind of, just focus on validating myself. So I'm more so focus on my self validation, not seeking it from everybody else, but to
Yeah.
fill my cup. I saw, and just like you were saying before, it's like we went from a society. Remember infomercials, bro, where you would just
Mhm.
see like it'd just be like a 8 hour commercial. It's like now we went to like a 30-second commercial. Everybody, we used to have like the guys that would come up with the Lamborghinis and they just
Mhm.
show you like, yeah, this is what we did. We flipped the house. And then, okay.
Right.
But now there's 30-second clips of everybody can sound deep in 30 seconds. That's why I tell my
Right.
kids all the time, like, look, y'all keep on following those little 30-second people. That's not really they're
Yeah.
not they're not experts. You gotta
Yeah.
follow that person, find out what they're doing, go deep into, if they made 4 videos, they're by no way an expert. So
Right.
just to make sure that, when you get like context behind like the No More Mr. Nice Guy and the books that have been researched and even like he actually goes through the process of showing you how he made this transformation
Yeah.
and how he studied a whole bunch of nice guys. And and you actually, we personally know nice guys that still,
Right.
we could kind of point it out like, oh, there you go, you trying to
Yeah.
make your
It's like you a
victim
closeted
mode,
nice
victim
guy. What
mode.
what you doing? It's like it's
You
like
victim puking, you
right.
victim puking.
It's like I'm not
So
gonna say it to your face because I'm not trying to get smacked or like
exactly. But at the same time, it's like, man, we gotta learn how to break free and just try to, like it's a daily walk, man.
yeah,
But it does start off with putting your needs first, and your needs matter, and then
yeah.
that's what I kind of validated. That's what the book validated for me, because I was the father of six people, and then my mother, I caregiver for her.
Mm,
I'm kind of like the eldest of my family, so I got my sister and
mm,
my other family members that come in around, need this, need that. So it was just like I'm always on call for somebody, and
right,
I got into my Superman mode while I was running around saving everybody else, and then Clark Kent came home like, oh, I'm tired. I don't know.
right.
I cannot move. So the but the book made me really focus on myself, my needs, and then just kind of and it broke down like what I've been like in the back of my mind, and those little paradigms that I had as far as like not you know that whole perception of like, if I'm a good guy, nothing bad is going to happen, and
Hmm.
all my needs will get fulfilled magically,
Yeah,
by the fairy that's going to come down and just say, hey, you're a nice guy, David. Here's $1 million.
yeah.
No, you got to go earn $1 million. I never forget. Et said, he's like, yeah, you a good guy.
Hmm.
And he said God told him, hey, you a good guy, but you're not. You a good guy, so you're doing good stuff for the people, but you're
Hmm.
not a good businessman. So you're not
Hmm.
getting no money because you're not
Right,
being a good businessman. So
right,
that's the
right.
same way it was like for me. It's like, okay, stop, David. You gotta, if you're gonna be a nice guy, you gotta be more nice with your finances. You gotta be more
Hmm.
nice with your health. You gotta be more nice with your mental health. Like making sure you focus on your physical health.
Yeah.
Continue to do like what you've already done to keep you where you are. So
Mm.
that's kind of sort of where we are, Asher. I'm just trying to just maintain and just try to, each day try
Yeah.
not to revert back, and just try
Hmm.
to, try to be better each day. That's the goal, bro. So
That's what's up. How would you
yeah.
say your family's received you, or like have they noticed the transformation, or kind of asked questions outside of like the physical, like you doing the work there and just being like, okay, like, wait, what do you mean no? Like you supposed to do this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, my daughter is like, she was devastated when I said no to Target Run. Like, what?
Mhm.
No, hold up, Dad. She was already ready to go. I was like, yeah, okay, Dad, we gotta go to Target, right? She was walking out the door. No, I go, what? You said no, Dad. I'm offended. She literally said that to Ashley. I'm offended. You said no. Why can't we go? Because I'm not going. I don't have
Mhm.
no reason to go. I'm gonna
Mhm.
sit right here and
Mhm.
I'm watching my movie. That's what I'm doing right now. So I have no desire to go out right now. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
that's what.
Oh, be right back.
Oh, Dad. She's like, you said no. I was like, yes, no, nope, we not going. Nope, nope,
Right.
nope, nope. So yeah, man,
But
but yeah,
it's not like you're
it
never going, but it's like just not
nah,
today.
it's just not today. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So now I was like, yeah, because my daughter thinks she has an endless budget in Target. So I'm like,
Mm,
nah. But you were asking about and then on top of that, they see I've been reading books, so they're like, wow, Dad, you've been reading a lot of books, and my son
mm,
was just impressed. So that's a great thing. And then on top of that, like uh my wife has been seeing transformation, so that's a good thing. So um and then like my oldest son, he rarely ever gives me like congratulations or anything. He was like, Dad, you look really good. I was like, oh, thanks. So yeah, because
yeah.
my son's like very even killed, so he doesn't really but he was like, yeah, Dad, you look good. What you been doing? You been working out. So that they made me feel good. So
That's
but yeah,
awesome.
everybody around me that's like been in my life, like, know that saw me. Because I mean, most people now, they if I tell somebody, they be like, man, you wasn't no, you wasn't. You on 244. Let me see. And I show them that picture, they be like, wow, okay, okay.
Mm,
No, you real, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you had to take new real estate pictures and things like that since you've got to always
Oh
be front and
yeah,
center?
definitely, yeah, definitely, yeah.
They're like,
Because my other one, I
who's
look
that guy?
like that one. I'm like I'm a little pudgy on the other one. But yeah, this one I got a little slender. Yeah, yeah. You're supposed to update your pictures every couple years, anyways. You know,
Mhm.
some of these real estate agents, we be running around with the glamour shots from '85 with the little dog, the ladies is
Yeah.
behind us and stuff. Like, come on, man. But yeah,
It's like
it's
the years change.
yeah, I've updated everything, you know, to reflect the new, you know, the new Dave, the new version of Dave, Dave 4.0. That's what I'm calling myself. So
Mm.
yeah, so
That's what's up.
yeah, so just like the iPhone, man, you got to keep on reinventing yourself. So
Yeah.
that's how I kind of do it. Actually, like every day, man, just get a little better. Just try to get a little better than you were
Mhm.
yesterday, Dave. So
That's a good goal. Upgrade
yeah,
that software.
yeah, yeah,
100%.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't, and that's the funny thing about it is that you I think also in the book it tries to say that you try to go against like what your parents used to do. So
Mhm.
you would try to go like with a different type of mindset from your parents. And that's kind of sort of what I've always done. Because my
Yeah.
dad was like a stickler, military style. I try to be
Mhm.
more of a laid back dad. And, you know, I try to and to yeah. So
Yeah.
I try to be like one of some and most of my kids I have a great relationship with. So it's just like we kind of they kind of know that I'm kind of like laid back and I'm not the emotional one. Your mother's more like the emotional one, but I'm more so the laid back.
Mhm.
And sometimes I might be too laid back for them, and I don't
Yeah.
know. But like I said, I'm me, so
Yeah.
I'm happy being me now. I don't have to you know take on that perception of like I got to be this way or that way. I'm just David now, you know.
Right.
So
I guess has it felt different, like not necessarily having to operate from like rejecting what your parents taught you, or just being like, oh, I just got to be opposite. I like I can't do this. Like moving from shame, or just being able to operate with less heavy hand over you, so to speak, to where it's like you've had to do something for so long, and just to like have it clarified that like, okay, the reason I was moving in this way was because of fear. Like I feared that I would
yes,
turn out
yeah,
this way, and
yes,
now
yes,
it's that,
yes,
okay, that's not
mhm,
necessarily the case. And
yes,
the more I kept running from something that I thought I was trying to avoid, I was actually
hmm
recreating it. And I would
hmm
like, you might be wondering like, oh, why are my parents crazy? Why are they like this?
hmm
Why are they like that? And
hmm
it's like once you see yourself in them, you're like,
yes,
oh, that's how they became this way.
yes,
And it's like you now gain a bit of grace, and you're like, okay, let me back off, because like I can see the nice guy in you. Let
yes,
me also like see the little boy in you that hasn't been
hmm
nurtured. And it's like,
hmm
let me show care and candor, and
yeah,
not
mhm,
continue to beat you down as people may do unintentionally, not knowing. They're like, oh, like yak, 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 yak. It's like I watched this clip earlier where I think it was a couple. They were it's like a TV show where a couple is there, and then there's a female coach, and she's asked the wife to speak to her husband. She starts
mhm,
speaking to her husband, and she's like, time out, hold up. And she goes over and takes a different approach to let him know that she believes in him first and foremost, and that she sees like she's creating a new world with her words, and not just beating him down, tearing him down, like your kids aren't doing this and da 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 da. Da." It's like,
mhm,
hey, no, nobody, like, just because you're a guy, you're just not made to hear that like yak 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 over
mhm,
and over. It's like that's not doing anything. Like the world's telling me that I've got to hear from this person, I got to hear from that
mhm.
person. And like, of course, you go down in the comments and you read, and somebody's got to come in there like,
Uh-oh, you
well,
in the
good for
comments?
him. It's
Uh-oh,
like,
uh-oh.
well, right, right. It's like some ladies, like one of the people. It's
Mm.
like this
Yeah, they just
commented,
all going in there. Oh,
right, but it's like the way people
comment.
comment kind of informs you as to how people think and why the problems
Yeah,
consist,
yeah,
because it's like,
yeah,
oh, I
yeah.
gotta have a
Just
man that I can talk
yeah,
to like
bro.
that. It's
Yeah,
like, okay,
yeah,
keep doing that,
yeah,
and when your man is dead at 50
yeah.
or 40, because he just kept taking it and
Oh
taking it
man.
and taking it, and you
Yeah,
guys were
yeah, yeah,
having
yeah.
this like internal war, instead of being able to
Mhm.
battle things outside your home together versus like,
Mhm.
oh, we gotta fight, we gotta do this, like, oh, like
Mhm.
I'm a thug or like da 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 da. It's like, all right, like keep that same energy. Like
Mhm.
it's not World War III in the house all the time. It's like that stuff is draining. It's
Yes.
exhausting. It is
Mhm.
tiring to listen to. And like to be able to actually, on one hand, maybe push back by having a boundary and being able to simply say no to things that you just don't want to do right now.
No, no,
And
no.
also like being able to actually have someone that sees that and
Mhm.
can give you something that's of care that may only be able to come from a woman or that may only be able to come from the support of men to be like, okay, hey, this is our brother, this is our guy, like
Yes. Yes.
let's look out for him.
Yeah.
Right now is not the time to tell him like, drill sergeant, you need this.
Yeah.
Yes, sometimes
Mhm.
somebody might have to like light a fire up under you, but like not if they don't know you. And I
Yeah.
think sometimes
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
what's missed. People kind of see what they do what they see, but they don't
Mhm.
understand the why, or they don't understand what's actually going on, and it's just repeating habits without understanding the story behind it. So
Yeah.
I think developing a a desire to read, but also like learning from the readings has been something
Mhm.
that's been encouraging to me to say, okay, like it's not just about, maybe when it was given to me, they didn't know how to communicate it in a way that I could receive it. But me
Mhm.
now having gone down this walk and found my way as
Mhm.
to this works, that might not work. I can take this, I can leave that alone. Let me do
Yeah.
something with this. Let's
Mhm.
leave that for another time. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
this is like a dance, or this is an engagement that I get to participate in, and I get to dictate like how it goes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's
it doesn't
yeah.
have to come into conflict with other people to where it's like everyone can do their own thing, but in a
Mhm.
way we can work together and actually respect the people that are opposite of us and not continue to be at each other's throats. I think
Yeah.
that was a
Facts.
positive thing about the book.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
having
Facts. It's
get
not all or
having
nothing,
yeah,
Ash. You know what I'm
having
saying? It
gone
ain't all or
out
nothing.
over that first chapter, it's like, okay, like,
Yes.
all right, second chapter, third activity, fourth activity, and it's like,
Mhm.
okay. And I think we'll be able to get into it more and we'll figure out how that can work. But I think this was a good introduction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like I said, it's like you were saying, that healthy accountability really helps out. And then like I said, just and you're right. Sometimes you do that's what the book did point out to me, that some of the thing moves that are making in desperation, and when you're in like fear
Yeah.
move is like the worst place to ever be to try to make decisions. And
Yeah.
a lot of times, even from my parenting standpoint, I might have a fear-based thing. Like, just for example, my daughter was like, she wanted to go on a field trip to they were like, oh yeah, we're going white water rafting. White
Mhm.
water rafting. Hold up. No, you might drown. Oh my gosh. No, you don't know how to swim. You can. I'm like, hold up, stop, Dave. They're going like, check the facts. All right.
Mhm.
Where are you going? Okay. Okay. The water is not. The water's like 3 feet, Ash. My daughter is like 5.5, so she could literally
Yeah.
stand up in the water. Okay,
Right,
so
right.
but the whole thing was like, I was about to go because my parents, I came from that generation where they didn't touch water. I don't even
Mhm.
know when we went to the beach. I think my dad just used to always just put on like his swimsuit. I
Mhm.
never saw him get in the water. My mother would go to the water and just put her feet in. That was
Mhm.
it. That was probably it. But we went to the beach with the pools,
Mhm.
so I had to stop myself. I was like, hold up, David, you are operating off old information. This is 2023. The school is not going to allow your daughter to go someplace where they could have a lawsuit potentially. So
Mhm.
yeah, just calm down. The teacher.
Mhm.
If you have questions, you can reach out. So, but like you were saying before, it's just like, don't, the fear, when you operating off fear and you're operating off information from the past, it
Mhm.
doesn't really serve you. So now, like you said, I have that self-awareness piece where now it's like, okay, I'm focusing on, like, does this make sense? Does this work? Because that's one of the things the book says. Does this make sense? Does this work?
Mhm.
Like, okay, so yeah. And like you were saying before, is it's nothing. It's not all or nothing. You don't have to. I don't think any book besides the Bible covers
Mhm.
pretty much everything that we probably should have to do.
Yeah.
But so it's good to have, like you were saying before, like to have that covering of different books to kind of like, okay, layer this, use that.
Yeah.
But the great thing about Ash is that it's helping, like I told you before, like that piece of the puzzle. Like
Mhm.
we might be like a million piece puzzle, bro. This
Mhm.
might be just one little piece that just added. This might be the little corner that you needed to kind of
Right.
help you get a little better to be a better Asher. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it, bro. So
Well said. Well said.
yeah, yeah.
Well, we'll probably wrap on that, but how can people get in touch with you if they want to do business real estate, or maybe we started No More Mr. Nice Guy group and kind of get that going? What do you think?
Yeah, man, I'm down because I think it said we should start a group, right? So,
Yeah. But
but yeah, it's Dave the real estate guy.
mhm,
So I am. That's what I'm affectionately known as because I'm David. And most people call me Dave, and so Dave the real estate guy at Dave the real estate guy number one at gmail.com. I'm licensed in Maryland and Pennsylvania, and then I'm on my Twitter. I'm not on Twitter. I'm sorry. The what's my? I think I'm Super Dave 524 at or is
Instagram
it?
or Facebook.
Yeah, Instagram. Yeah, feel free to plug my Instagram. Uh, Facebook um, Dave the real estate guy at
Mhm.
Cummings and Cumming Realtors in Timonium, Maryland. And yeah, I'm here for the people. 443, my number, 443-932-6319. If you need to text or shoot me a call, again, it's 443-932-6319. And like I said, it's a pleasure. Thank you, Ash, for this opportunity. Man, we could talk probably about 9 hours about this. So yeah, I appreciate you opening up and giving me the opportunity to, and yeah, thank you for your work and for your growth because I've only been around you for about maybe a year and some change. So, but it's been a pleasure knowing you and just hearing the genuineness in your heart. There's not too many people that can serve, and you're one of those people that just get in, backup quarterbacking on the line. If it's hey, put your mute. Hey, check the microphone check. You the back, you the audio dude. you open up the call sometimes, man. You get the keys and you close that. Hey, the call over now. So y'all can go. So Ash, I'm like you all over the place, man, serving you like, man, you open up the keys, you lock it up sometimes. So yeah, man, I
Uh,
just want to shout out you, man, for everything that you do, and help us out on the M series with the audio and the technical things. So yeah, bro. So you dope, man, and it's a pleasure to know you, bro. I can't wait to give you a hug when we get down there and at the retreat. So yeah,
yes,
man.
sir.
Yes,
Likewise.
bro.
It's
Yeah, man.
awesome. And from the first question I asked you, are you still who you said you were?
Uh yes, I am still who I said I am. I'm a family guy, and that's who I'll always be. I love my family. I love God, and I love to serve people. So yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
servant, brother. That's what I do, man. Even from real estate to if at one point when I was Ubering, hey, I'm Ubering, putting the word BK affectionately labeled me the hope dealer. So I'm outside giving the hope to the people, encouraging people, keep your head up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just like I'm realizing that I know you get a lot of, it's so cliche about being your authentic self, be you. But it in actuality, it is it 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 feels good when you are really confident in who you are and you're not trying to fit somebody's mold or you're not doing the people pleasing thing. Well, I'm trying to be this way around Asher and I'm trying to be this way around BK or I'm trying to be this way when I'm around my homeboys. No, I'm David.
Right.
I'm David with Asher. I'm David with BK. I'm David
Mhm.
with my homeboys on the block. I'm David with my family. So I'm David. So yeah, that's I am who I am, Asher. So and I appreciate you, man.
Yes,
God
sir.
bless, man.
Likewise. Thank you.
Yeah, man. All right, brother. Yeah, have a good one, bro.
Yes, sir.